Hey guys, it is Tony and Chelsea live.
It's happening right now.
At 5 o'clock Eastern time. Go to sdp.io/when to find out exactly when in your local time zone. We're live.
Yeah, and this live show is brought to you by Squarespace Naturally, the all-in-one platform for creating a fast and easy online portfolio or professional website. And if you want 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com/Tony and use the coupon code
PhotoLive.
PhotoLive. Oh, we have one for the show now?
Yeah, so Squarespace is great for any type of website. We're going to be looking at a couple of websites that are hosted at Squarespace. Not just portfolios, but just about anything. And they've helped us out a lot. They've made all this possible. We simply could not have geared up like we needed to do this.
No.
And we hope that we've overcome all the technical problems. I know I'm totally jinxing it, but we've done a lot. And we have redundant streams and stuff now. So if something goes wrong, just bear with us. It should pop up. Go to the backup stream in just a few, like 10, 15 seconds.
I'm going to have a redundant stream after that margarita.
That is pretty gross.
Just bringing it highbrow.
So today is Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo! And you made the most beautiful margaritas I've ever seen.
Yeah, and if you stay tuned, I will show you. We have a cooking show segment.
I heard you doing the recipe.
Yeah. And I'll show you exactly how I made these. It's Tony's famous fresh margarita recipe.
You make a good margarita.
Thank you.
And I've had my fair share.
I'll have a sip right now. So before we start the show, I want to ask you guys a couple of things. We're going to be going over photography horror stories. When you're all ready for something and then it just goes terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah.
So you can type that right into the comments on YouTube, and our screener Siobhan and our producer Justin will look for them and we'll read them out in a little bit. Also, if you have your own portfolio and it's hosted at Squarespace, just write Squarespace and then give us the link. Because in the middle of the show, we're going to be doing some live portfolio reviews, and you can participate in that too. So you'll be able to watch the portfolio review as we're doing it and let us know what you think of that person's portfolio. It's interactive. It's all interactive.
They're saying we need to turn our sound down.
All right, well, we'll keep going, and Justin can take a look at that.
We'll get it figured out. And, okay, so it's probably very evident we have...
We'll talk quietly.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk quietly. It's very obvious, but we have an entirely new set.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Our friend Katie designed it. She is a designer and has her own shop called Bank and Pearl. She's super talented. So if you want stuff for your own house, you can go to her site and get it. If you want some design tips, I'm sure she'd do that too, actually.
It's right here at katiewaddington.squarespace.com.
She uses Squarespace and she loves it.
It's just coincidental.
That's a coincidence, yeah.
But she uses it because she's a designer. And she has like fantastic taste, which is why we hired her. And she went through all the different website providers and she's like, Squarespace is just the best. This is her website here.
She's so cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
I know. It looks really good.
Ooh.
She's super talented.
Yeah, Squarespace is nice. Okay, so you have a couple of bits of homework. Come up with your photography horror story. Type it into the comments. We'll share some of ours. If you have a Squarespace website, type Squarespace and give us the URL.
Yeah.
We'll also do a few live photo reviews, not too many, but a few. So if you have a link to a picture, like on whatever website you're doing, you're using to host your pictures, just put it up, and we'll take a look at those a little bit later in the show. How do you want to start today, Chels?
I had some news that I looked up. The first bit of news I found is that Canon did this study, and they found that 18% of people are unknowingly buying counterfeit Canon gear. So you could think you have Canon, and 18% of those people actually have counterfeit. And it's usually like batteries and chargers. And they're just not real. They're getting on Amazon fulfillment. Like anyone can go on there and sell stuff. So they're just these knockoff companies. And they're really trying hard to stop it because it's not good quality. It's not the same quality. You could get a charger or a battery, and it's not going to work the same as a real authentic Canon version.
Yeah, I'll say that I often buy name or generic batteries and chargers because the batteries...
They don't work as well.
The batteries are like 60 or 70 bucks. Well, they work great at first, which is why they get good reviews.
Yeah.
Because they were great for like 2-3 weeks. but then they just stop working, or they'll cut out in the middle of a shoot. And we have had photography horror stories where we're in the middle of a shoot, and then my stupid Chinese battery just stops.
Stupid Chinese battery!
And so we always bring a backup camera, so we're kind of prepared, but it can be a real nightmare, especially if you're working with just one.
Yeah.
So as much as I love generic stuff, I do not recommend the generic batteries.
You seriously know how much I love a bargain. I'm always talking about, like, even just giving our readers the best bang for their buck.
Yeah, we are cheapskates.
But that's not good. That's not worth it. On Canon's site, they actually have a quiz, and you can see if you can tell the real ones from the fake ones. They have, like, side-by-side pictures. I did it. If they weren't side-by-side, I don't think you could tell, but side-by-side you could. I'll have to give you that URL, Justin. You can share it with everybody.
Is it like my Canon coffee mug lens, where Canon is spelled C-A-M-I-U-M?
No, everything is spelled perfectly. The logo is perfect.
Wow,
like,
I'm going to get away with that.
The biggest difference I saw is that, like, the ink isn't as good. All of the text is just kind of a little fuzzier. You can tell. It looks a little cheaper side by side.
I'd be upset if I paid all that money for a battery just to have it find out it was fake.
I know. I'd be mad if that were my company, if I were Canon,
Yeah.
and someone was not only stealing my product, but then bringing down the quality of my name.
Yeah, I think we should get, like, holographic tattoos so people know that it's genuinely us and not somebody impersonating us.
Are you really Tony?
It could be. I feel like this is a Star Trek episode. You'll have to find the right Captain Kirk.
I'm not worried about it.
You don't have a test prepared in case there's clones of Tony and they're all insisting that they're Tony?
I'm not that bothered by it.
Okay, I felt like this was a good excuse to watch Star Trek reruns, but it's something that's going to happen.
All right, so this is my second bit of news, the Tamron 150 to 600. We just reviewed it. We liked it. It got a TIPA award. Surprising?
No, I thought it was a good lens.
Well, I thought maybe it wouldn't be surprising because they give everything a TIPA award.
Yeah, I'll just Google TIPA awards real quick.
So it got the TIPA award for the 2014 Best Expert DSLR Lens. So basically, TIPA, Technical Image Press Association, they give awards every year to the best photography gear, pretty much. And the panel is made up of, like, photo and imaging magazine editors, basically. Which I thought there was kind of a conflict of interest, possibly, right? Because
they're advertisers.
Yeah. And if, I don't know, they're getting, it just seems weird.
Well, yeah, so here are this year's TIPA award winners, and you can see
it's everything.
Everything is listed.
Yeah.
The Nikon DF, the Nikon D3300, that Fuji 10 to 24 lens, like pretty much everything we've reviewed has won this award. Nothing is excluded.
We should make something.
All the new gear that's been released this year.
I think we should have the TNC awards, and we'll be straight up honest.
I'm thinking we call it the Tony Awards.
There might be a problem with that.
What's that?
Tony.
You just want your name in there too, don't you?
That's exactly what it is. But yeah, I actually think that it did deserve the award, though, because it was a really light lens and it worked well, and they had some new technology in there, so it was cool.
Okay, so I will get started with the photography horror stories. I think the single worst horror story I've had is I had just bought the Canon 5D Mark III. Like, I was one of the first people to get it. I was all excited, and I took it out with my friend Chris Rao doing wildlife stuff with my big 500mm lens. And as per usual, I wore flip-flops. But the birds this time were way out in a marsh. So we hiked up our shorts, and, like, we got, like, hip deep in the marsh. And as I was climbing out of the marsh, I got no pictures to show for it. The birds just left whenever we got close. We couldn't hide. It was too clear. My feet were covered in mud. My flip-flop slipped off, and I stumbled and fell. And the lens fell and landed on the camera.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Broke the 5D Mark III in half. The whole front of it came off. This was like a $3,500 body at the time.
It broke the mount, right?
Yeah, the mount just completely came out. You could see all the guts and stuff. Oh, it was heart-wrenching, and especially because it all happened because I wasn't wearing the right footwear.
I think it all happened because your wife wasn't there.
That could be.
And I am the voice of reason for you. I'm like, Tony,
you would have been like,
let us not forget.
Get something with a heel, for God's sakes.
Tony, I'm seeing all sorts of potential for you to get hurt.
Oh. Another wildlife story. you and I both went out to a zoo one time. Back when when I shot for Northrop.org all the time, and I was just collecting species and categorizing photos. We would frequently go to shoot animals at the zoo. And we went to the DC Zoo, so it had been a long trip, but it's a great zoo and it was worth it. I get there, we get all our gear ready, we walk in, go to take a picture, no memory cards.
No memory cards.
I'd taken them out to unload them, we packed everything up, but we had no memory cards.
This segment is stressing me out.
I know, it was such a long trip. Then it's like, we have to find a pharmacy or something that might sell a memory card.
And then they were small. They were like 12
we needed
gigs.
CF cards, and they only had SD cards or something like that. And so now what I do is when I take the memory cards out, I leave the door open.
On the camera.
Like the memory card door. And I don't close it until I put a memory card back in there. And that's the kind of mistake you only make once. You have any photography horror stories?
I can't think of any, actually. A lot of small things, nothing so notable.
Yeah.
Like our last photo shoot, we made a video on professional headshots, and we went all the way out to that dealership, and I forgot my little Apple box, so I had to awkwardly stand on a chair.
Yeah.
And that really did impede my shots. I had to have you double up and take shots with me just to make sure, because I was all over the place.
Yeah, when you do portraiture, you want to be above the person's eye level.
Yeah,
just
these
a
people
little
were
bit. You don't want to be
giants.
looking up at them, or you'll see their double chin.
They were
stuff.
all tall men.
They were all tall.
And I was just like, all right, this is not going to work.
Yeah, you needed that Apple box. Another horror story with that is that the client assured us we had a great backdrop to use. And we get there, and the backdrop was a nightmare. It was this super vibrant, colorful paintings of cars, and it just would not work. So we had to improvise a whole backdrop, which involved, you probably saw the video, but we were holding reflectors.
Yeah, we had to hold
up
a reflector.
It was the one thing we weren't really prepared for.
We have a great background.
Yeah, you're all set. You don't need to bring a backdrop. I mean, the clients always tell you it's going to be no big deal. It'll be super easy. You'll be in and out.
The client always thinks everything is not going to be a big deal. They're like, just make me look half my size. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be super easy. So easy that you should only charge me half. And then just make me look like a totally different person. That's what always happens to me.
You're talking to them on the phone, and they're like, we don't need any retouching, nothing.
Easy.
Just snap the picture and send it to me. You're going to be done that day. Mm-hmm. And then when you're taking the pictures of them, you're like, is there any way you can Photoshop this? Or can you make me look thinner? Yeah. And you're like, that's going to be 6 hours of work that you want.
Yeah, every photo shoot has its difficulties. But I'm curious to hear other people's, because I always hear ones like people are doing baby photography and the baby poops on everything.
Every baby shoot is a horror story. Do you find any comments there, Justin? Anybody else have photography horror stories?
Well, for photography horror stories, never shoot a family member's wedding. You're so busy you miss the event. It's tough, not sure it's a horror story. The images were fine.
Yeah, we actually did Justin's wedding. And you have to be in or out mentally. You have to understand, if you ask someone to photograph your wedding and they're a friend, they aren't actually attending your wedding, pretty much. No offense, Justin. But you have to, as a photographer, you have to understand that you're not going to be participating so much. You have to really be a photographer 100%, which actually works out well for us because we're both super socially awkward, so I would rather be taking pictures anyway.
Yeah, I prefer to be just completely dressed in black in a wedding and just telling people to smile.
Yeah, no offense again, Justin, but I didn't want to make small talk with your family. I'd rather. I'm horrible. Horrible.
Well, while you guys come up with your photography horror stories.
I have more news.
Oh, okay.
Tony and I are going on a big photography adventure. We're starting in Istanbul, Turkey. We're going to Amsterdam. We're going to Brussels and Bruges and Luxembourg. And so I guess I'm telling you because not only will I have a travel blog going at chelseanorthrup.com/travel, which I've already just started, but I want suggestions. Where should I eat? Where should I drink? Where should I sleep? What should I take pictures of? We've never been to these places.
Yeah, and this is the kind of thing where the locals always know the places. Because you can find out that, you know the monument that you want to take a picture of, but to find the viewpoint.
The viewpoint and also the best food. These are my concerns.
And maybe some place that makes a good local cocktail.
Some good beer and good chocolate.
Yeah.
And maybe a few hookers. Just maybe one or two.
We're going to be in Amsterdam. And as I say,
Yeah.
when in Rome.
When in Amsterdam.
When in Amsterdam, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. That's not super exciting for anybody but us.
I see we have some questions. You want to read one there, Justin?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just switching over to this camera. You wore flip-flops during wildlife photography?
I know.
You have to understand, people don't know this about you. Not only are you ill-prepared, but you're super accident-prone.
Yeah.
To the point where I worry about him all the time. Like, and you're a super daredevil. You have no sense for your coordination. Like, I always see him, like, trying to ride a skateboard. I'm like, you will die like that. Remember that time you wanted a motorcycle? And I was like, I like motorcycles. You're going to die.
Yeah. I am unathletic and fearless, and it's a deadly combination. I could ride a motorcycle for no more than 30 seconds.
You would die immediately.
I would immediately, first it'd be wobbly, and then I'd be
going
like
150.
120, and then I would just be in a tree.
Yeah. I took him to a family picnic once, and remember you were just bleeding everywhere from your head within the first 30 minutes. I was like, I don't even know how he does it.
No, I don't even remember that.
I should
but
get
that
you a
happens
cool helmet.
all the time. I have like over 100 stitches in my body. I've got metal rods and stuff.
You have, metal legs.
I can't go through metal detectors without, getting the wand and a long story about how...
I need to just wrap you in bubble wrap. That's what I need to do. And get you some nice sturdy shoes. Get you a big hamster ball.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Got anything else for us, Justin?
There's a couple people who would like for you to look at their photos.
No.
Pics, stuff like that.
We're not doing that anymore.
No more.
We gave that up 3 minutes ago.
Someone says, I have a question for Tony. For those of us who don't have portfolios, can you start reviewing the photos on our Facebook pages? I volunteer mine.
Yeah, if you give a link to a specific photo, I'm not going to go through somebody's Facebook feed. But at the same time, it's pretty easy to set up a portfolio.
Yeah, it's easy,
You know
man.
how you would do that? You go to squarespace.com.
Get a free trial.
Yeah, it's free for 14 days, no credit card. And if you decide to buy it, it's a great way to show off your pictures. And even if it only lasts 14 days, that's enough for us to look at it next week.
Yeah.
And if you decide to sign up, use the coupon code PhotoLive.
If they also want to share just individual pictures, if you're a reader, you can go to stpcommunity.com and just submit it, and we do it in our photo review show.
Yeah, we don't review every picture. Oh, for the photo review. Yeah. Yeah, we're a little backed up. And you can share with the group, too. There's over like 5,000 people in there now, and they're really friendly and supportive. Just buy Stunning Digital Photography back there, or the DVD set if you're not into books.
DVDs,
Links are
books,
in the description.
Cameras, people, we got it all. What else, Justin? Keep them coming.
Someone said, I think they're referring to the Russian camera.
Yeah.
They're 35, but they said, does that Leica in the background work?
It does work. It's
Yeah, not well, though.
it doesn't work well. It's just really attractive. Made in the
story
USSR.
That communist Russia didn't have much respect for intellectual property rights, so they would just steal other people's designs. And this is indeed a ripoff of a Leica, like part by part.
Doesn't feel like a Leica.
No, they
Feels like they made it out of tinfoil.
They generally did a pretty bad job of it, and that will shoot, but it doesn't. The shutter speed just doesn't work reliably. The springs are a little old in it. And with any rangefinder, it's possible for the focus to become decoupled, and that one is decoupled. And I can't send. There's nobody to send that to service to. So
will you fix it?
It's pretty.
It is beautiful.
And that's what it's doing there.
That's why it's there. We should try to shoot with it. Yeah.
I
Who
have.
am I kidding? That'd be a waste of film. I spend so much time in the dark room. I'm like, may as well use something that works.
Sometimes the manual cameras are fun, and other times they just end up being frustrating. And that crosses the line to frustrating.
That crosses the line.
I see Justin running around there. In the meantime, you want to take a look at somebody's portfolio?
Yeah, let's look.
Now, we'd love to hear your feedback on this as we go through it. And you guys can just talk to each other about what you think is great or terrible. Gant Blinkley here, gantblinkley.squarespace.com. Oh, a Squarespace portfolio.
Cool.
Okay, so, look, he talks about us at the bottom there. I have
always
not seen
get
that
brownie
before.
points for that, right? Like,
Yeah, so he starts out with the About Me, which is an unusual way to do it. And that picture looks a little blurry. I think, yeah, that's not zoomed in.
Yeah,
or
but he's
anything.
with a hottie with a body.
Yeah, you know what? A girl will always help get your website some attention.
Are you implying that you're using me for my cuteness
I
and
am.
my cool pants?
So these are his portraits. Okay, so we clicked on his portfolio and it looks like it expands to a couple of different things. You know, I find this a little confusing. Parkersburg, West Virginia, and then his phone number here. The phone number is good, but the WV here, I would just group it with the town. Because I thought that was like a menu item that was screwed up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a great portrait of a kid. I like the black and white.
Those are cute.
Yeah, they're really cute kids.
A lot from the same shoot, though.
Yeah, but you know, you do have other pictures here. One thing you can do that's a cool picture with the hair. If you don't have a lot of different models to work with, you can mix it up a little bit. So even if you only had 2 models, just alternate between the 2 little models, the 2 different models. And
that girl's
definitely
cool.
Helps. Yeah, she's kind of a badass.
I noticed.
So let's check out his animal pictures. Horses and mule.
I love that mule.
That's a cool picture. I like shooting through glass. That's a cool effect. And a dog.
That's a great dog picture.
Yeah, that is.
And that exposure was rough too, because the black and white dog.
Jenna Shaver's prom. Oh, that's an awesome picture.
That's nice.
Yeah, I really like that. That shows a lot of personality.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, she's like, I got a dress. And he's like, I'm just going to do sweet jumps all day. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, I might have given her a little more elegant of a pose because there's a juxtaposition here between his cool, wild side and her kind of elegant and stately nature.
His shoes match her dress.
I'd have her with like a serious expression and like a cool pose.
She looks cool.
That's a great picture. The lighting is perfect. You can see the sun is behind them, so there aren't weird shadows on their face.
Yeah, it's
the
nice.
background is nicely blurred. I like that too. The details are really nice, and that's a good eye. And he lined up the horizon really nicely. Again, really nice soft light. The lighting worked out good for you. Soft location. It's a good shot for black and white too.
Yeah, those are great shots.
Yeah, those are all good. And he's got a contact page there, which is a necessity, with an email address. All right, so that sounds good. Great portfolio. I would just say keep shooting.
Keep on
Get some more models in there. If you want a website that looks as nice as Gant's, it makes your pictures look so much better to have a good website.
It really does if you present them in a good way.
Yeah. Squarespace is what we both use for our personal portfolios. And yeah, we're biased because they're a sponsor, but we also really like them, and we went through.
I'm not biased. You can't buy me. If I didn't like them, I'd be like, beat it.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use them if they just weren't a good hosting provider, but I think they're the best hosting provider I've used, and I've gone through a bunch of different hosting providers for portfolios. I did web hosting for like a decade of my life, and it's so much more advanced. Yeah, Bolt, Beranek, and Newman. All the nerds know that.
He hung out with the dude that invented putting the @ in email addresses.
Ray Tomlinson, yeah.
He worked with him.
I worked in the data center where they invented the router and stuff. BBN did all the contracting for DARPA in the initial development.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds super great, and I respect you. Let's see another one. DARPA.
I don't have another portfolio website queued up, but maybe we have some pictures to look at. Or maybe not.
I like to read the comments because they make me laugh.
You have any questions for us, Justin? I'll see if I can pull up some pictures.
Well, oddly enough, I've heard this one about twice in the last week. What about a weekly competition? Something along the lines of the weekend hashtag projects on Instagram.
As opposed to like the monthly thing we already do.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Somebody wants to do a photo contest.
But we do one.
Yeah, we do a monthly one, and I guess, if we're going to scale that a little bit further, we probably need somebody to kind of manage it, because it takes a lot of time. That's one of those things where we're kind of limited on our bandwidth. But I think it's a good idea. It's something we can think about, and I agree that it's an interactive thing, and we have this live show format. We could announce the contest one week, and then the winner the next week. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, we could do it this week. Chelsea, put your brain to thinking of a topic, and then next week we can pick the winner for everybody who tunes in.
Let's make this week's challenge insects.
Insects. Oh my goodness, that's a really hard one.
Well, let's weed out the boys from the men.
All right. Well, you know what? You've got time to look at Chapter 12 of Stunning Digital Photography, which captures macro photography, and Chapter 8, which covers wildlife and insects. And go to Amazon and order yourself some extension tubes.
Don't tell them if they buy stuff, they're going to be mad at me.
They cost like $10.
Oh, don't be a cheapskate.
And then tune in next Monday and share us your insect picture. This person wanted us to look at their picture. That's a really nice picture of a leaf. I like that you can see all the veins through it. It's backlit, so it kind of shines through. The water definitely makes it nice composition.
This is good.
It feels a little unbalanced with this much room at the top.
I think it looks
I don't
good.
think you can fix it with a crop, but I might have shifted the composition down.
Yeah.
An eighth of a frame. Not a whole lot. Just
a smidgen.
Just so like the room over here, this distance here should be equal to this distance here.
Yeah.
As far as balance goes.
Okay.
Cover that in Chapter 2.
What's all this stuff on the bottom about canvases and everything?
Oh, 500 Pix is doing this thing where you can buy prints. And I don't think anybody ever buys anything.
They told me people wanted to buy mine once and it was a lie.
Yeah, I've gotten that message too, and nobody's ever bought anything. Alright, I'm actually not seeing anybody sharing pictures.
I saw someone sharing a portfolio.
No, I did not mean to click that link. You saw somebody sharing a portfolio.
Yeah, but these, the Choney Awards, someone said. Welcome to the Choney Awards.
Yeah, we have a pretty terrible name for combining things.
Their Flickr? Where'd it go? I don't know.
Oh, right here. Okay, Nick, we'll take a look at your Flickr.
How'd you do that? Just select the F like that. Page not found. Nick, what up with that?
I think I can fix this. See, I was bragging about how I know so much about the internet.
Yeah.
Watch that. No.
Embarrassing. What?
Who's the man?
Nick.
You gotta admit that.
Nick Wood?
Nick Wood is the man. Okay, so
my first impression. Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, that's true.
My second impression.
This is Flickr.
Cool cars.
It's like about large amounts of pictures. I like that picture a lot. I think cars, especially in shows, can be really hard to photograph, and that's what I like to do. I like to find
a detail.
The detail.
I like that.
Zoom in on
I have a mouse right here.
Yeah, take control.
I like this one too.
Yeah, me too.
To create a little more movement, I would just crop it like back here.
Follow the rule of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these pictures could use a little room in front of the subject. Like this one in particular, his back tire is not cut, but his front tire is cut.
Yeah. A lot of great. Oh, I love this black and white one. That's beautiful.
I like that too.
Oh, and I like the black and white fireworks too. That's pretty. That's different.
Yeah, I've not seen that before.
You have a lot of good pictures, but they're not organized very well. So the first thing I see are just a bunch of cars, and I would have never guessed that you would have, this artistic stuff like these beautiful rustic doors and everything. So you need more categories in your portfolio. Is that an option with Flickr?
Yeah, let's go to albums.
Oh, you can go to albums. Okay.
Oh. Frono's Photo 10.
What's that mean?
I don't know, maybe he was doing something with Jared Polin.
Well, these still aren't... These still aren't categories.
Yeah. Your comment holds up. Categorize it a little bit.
My comment
Let
holds
us
up. Yeah.
find what we want.
Simplify it a little bit. The design is very busy. I guess that's a Flickr thing. Maybe he could change it by changing this header here, which is like, just make it plain or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. We could use a break to refill our margaritas. Justin, why don't we show them my recipe? We'll do a quick cooking segment. This probably isn't going to be a regular thing for us, but it's Cinco de Mayo, people. So you got to learn how to make a good margarita.
They do, unless you don't drink and then just get water. Don't blame me.
Here's how to make Tony's fresh margaritas. You need 4 limes. and orange, and I like to throw a pink grapefruit in there. I like to use a good tequila. This is Cuervo 1800 silver. The silver, as opposed to the gold, is like filtered a little bit. And this is Cointreau. Sometimes you just use triple sec, but because I'm using fresh ingredients, I like to put some good grade liquors in there too. I've got a couple of glasses chilling. Now, I've actually got 5 limes here. One of these is just gonna be the garnish. So I always pick the lime that looks the prettiest on the outside and set it aside for the garnish. Now, for the limes that I'm going to juice, I first kind of beat them up a little bit. I'll put it down here and then just put all my weight into it with the heel of my hand and just smash them a little bit until they feel nice and kind of spongy. That means that it's been all broken up on the inside, and that'll make the squeezing part go much easier. So I'll just cut it in half. Oh, look at the way it explodes. Then I'll just juice it, get all the juice out of it I can. Some limes are juicier than others, and it kind of depends on the time of year and the store that you're at, but I like to look for limes that are shiny on the outside and just like roundish. Those have the most juice. This lime, practically completely dry. Not a good choice. Now I'll just take this off of the juicer and rinse out the pulp. This doesn't need to be on camera. Because as we do this orange and grapefruit, they're going to give off a lot of pulp and probably jam that thing up. Good stuff. Now I'm only going to use half this grapefruit. I like to put the grapefruit in there even though it's not traditionally a part of a margarita because it adds a little sweetness to it, a little tartness, and frankly it gives off more juice than the other citruses. So if you were to squeeze enough limes to do this, you'd be squeezing like 20 limes and your wrist would be all tired. There we go. So I've got my shaker here, got some ice loaded in there already. I'll just dump that in there. And I usually do about 3 parts juice total, 2 parts tequila, and then 1 part Cointreau or triple sec. Smooth. Oh, who are we kidding? Got a couple of shakes. Spilling a little bit. Okay, I have chilled a couple of glasses, just put ice and water in there so they're nice and cold. I usually like to serve this without ice, just kind of martini style, so that it doesn't dilute the juice too much. Now for the garnish, most people just cut it into wedges, but I actually like to cut this into strips. I just think it looks nicer. Bend your fingers at the knuckle so you don't cut off anything. Throw a couple of these in there to line the glass, maybe float on top. And happy Cinco de Mayo. Good stuff. Here's how to make.
We need to give up this gig and do cooking videos.
Yeah, that's my goal.
People are going to love my cereal recipe.
This is how I transitioned from photography to just alcohol for a living.
Hey, that's a pretty good idea.
So we have another Squarespace hosted portfolio, and if you decide you think they look awesome and you want to set up your own,
Yeah.
go to squarespace.com/Tony.
But
And-
how?
Type that in the address bar.
And then what?
And then you'll get it free for 14 days and you can set it up, no risk. And if you like it, use the coupon code PHOTOLIVE for some amount off.
14 days? That's several days.
It's a fortnight.
That's a fortnight.
That's what we called it when I was growing up.
You only had fortnights when you were growing up. And I'm really impressed by how you've adapted to modern time and clocks and watches and things.
Yeah, we used to measure time in fortnights and then moons ago.
Moons ago,
Yeah.
that was popular.
So this is Giselle Dupree's portfolio.
This is one of my favorite pictures ever.
Yeah, it's going to probably move on, but I love the use of negative space here. The lines really make it, like this line
lines are
just draws your
insane.
eye in there right to this. And then it's just such a simple thing. It's just, and Giselle, it's an amazing
It's an
use
amazing shot. Giselle
of
is
negative space.
such an incredible photographer, and it has been a pleasure to watch her grow. I remember when she first got in the group, just the same as everyone. She was just trying to learn, and she was putting up, decent pictures. And now she puts up pictures, and I think, wow, like I'm so impressed by her progress.
Yeah, she's really become one of my favorite photographers.
Yeah.
And if you look in the acknowledgments of Stunning Digital Photography, you'll
She's
see
in
her
there.
name in there because she really helped me a lot. She walked me through chapter 4 and told me everything that didn't make sense to her
Yeah.
and told me how I could help clarify it. And so I went back and I rewrote chapter 4 for the last update, specifically around her feedback because, she thinks differently than I do.
Yeah.
And it's hard to accommodate lots of different types of learners. So she helped out SDP a lot. We definitely owe her a favor.
We do.
But she's made so much progress. I love his emotion. It really makes you wonder what they're all looking at. I think Superman. They're like she's like, it's a bird. It's a plane. No,
It's a hoagie.
Superman.
Arrested Development.
Oh, this is great too. It must be in. She's in Brooklyn, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Chinatown.
but this is probably Chinatown. It's based on the signage here, and I love the smoke coming out of his mouth. We gotta hook up with her and get some street.
I know. Well, we're going to
tips.
be going to New York really soon, so Giselle, maybe we can meet up and take some pictures.
Yeah, this
She
might
can
be a
show
weird
us
time
the
to
ropes.
ask her that, but
Giselle, don't say no. What?
Giselle says Dupre, not Dupree.
Oh, Dupre.
Dupre.
I'm so sorry. Is Giselle correct?
That's
Yeah,
ironic
yeah,
because
she talked to Siobhan.
she's the last person that would pray.
Oh, Giselle. I got you.
She's evil.
Giselle Dupre.
Giselle Dupre.
Oh, again, man. Okay, I'm having a hard time with the slideshow here. Maybe I don't. I
What?
really want to spend some time on these pictures. This picture.
I
Look
love
at
this
that.
picture.
It's all about the shadow.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I
All
love way
about the
it's
shadow.
cropped. Wow.
I love the full screen.
Sorry, it's on an automatic timer.
Which template is this, Giselle? Because I really like this template.
I love the juxtaposition here. She uses slow shutter speed so that you can caught the movement of all these people here, but then this lady is so peaceful.
Who is
So
that lady?
kind of a jerk for being in the middle of
Yeah, who is she?
what looks like Grand Central Station.
Was she really just sitting there, or is that like a friend?
I don't think she does posed pictures really. I think she's all street photography.
Who would sit there like that?
That lady.
What a jerk.
Well, it made for a great picture. I would have been annoyed with her, but again, this is all about the negative space. This eye here just feels so imposing. These are like gallery-worthy pictures.
Yeah, her pictures are insane.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're insane.
Okay, let's see her projects here. I just like looking at her work. Remember this one from the group.
Yeah, I remember that from a photo review.
Yeah, just an awesome moment that you caught. My eye is drawn right to her tattoo there and the cigarette. They're just so Euro, but certainly in New York City.
That's hilarious.
That's a wonderful shot. God, we got to find out how she gets these pictures. She does almost all her work in black and white, but this is a great choice for color.
I love this shot. I want to be these ladies when I grow up. Just cool.
Yeah, you know what makes this shot is the cross eye contact here. She's looking at her, and we talk about lines in stunning digital photography, but eye contact always forms
It creates
a line.
lines, yeah.
You look at her, and by nature, you look to see what she's looking at.
And then she's looking back at us. There's like a triangle formed.
Yeah, exactly. And it just draws your eye through the picture.
Oh, this is one I haven't seen before. This is beautiful.
No, I've not seen it, but the light streaming through there is just fantastic. Really low key. That's cool. That reminds me of Chris Rao a little bit. And again with the eye contact, she's over here, and it could be a distraction, except her eyes are clearly looking back down at him.
Yeah.
That really works. He's just got a great expression.
He's got a great everything. Check out that hat.
Wow. I love her outfit. She's smoking too. This
might be the smoking series, because one of the categories was smoking.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, Tony.
but...
Get with it, see?
Oh, no,
Smokers.
this is not even. Wow.
I've always liked that one.
I like that one too. Yeah, smoking is bad for you, but smoking
Really
is a wonderful
photogenic,
subject.
yeah.
It really is. It catches the light and reflects it. It takes on all these interesting subjects. And smokers spend a lot of time right outside of places just hanging out.
Yeah.
So they make good street photography subjects. Oh, that's a great shot. Because it provides the context, like where he works at this place.
Yeah.
And he's just taking a break, and it tells so much of a story. You just get a sense for who
I'm
he
sucked
is
in,
and
yeah.
what he does. And it draws you into the detail of, wow.
Her portfolio is great. The design is great. She went with a simple template. It matches her photography, just kind of minimalist. And she doesn't have too many pictures in each category. She's got it going on. This is one of my favorite pictures of hers.
I love that too.
Look at this lonely man with his Pepsi.
I'm kind of breezing through because I feel like we've just spent so much time on it, but I'm just excited to look at this work. And she's organizing it just perfectly for a fine art portfolio too.
Yeah.
By subject. And she's like ready to go into a gallery, I think.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to
If
find
I had a
place.
gallery, I'd put her there.
Yeah. I love that shot, the way their heads are touching. The balance is perfect too, because they're both looking off to camera right, and so she kind of lined them with the left third, so the visual weight of it is just perfect.
Yeah, she's got a great eye for composition.
Yeah, and this, of course, is street photography. It's not planned like our commercial work, so she's doing that just on the fly.
I love this shot too.
Yeah, this is about the lighting.
You know
here.
what else I like about Giselle? She's a really humble photographer. Because, I don't know, there's some people where they start to get good and they can just be kind of like mean to other photographers, and she's not like that. She stayed humble. She's always helpful.
You do sometimes see that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, her work is good enough now that she should just be like Kanye West. She should just be like showing a picture and then like, drop the mic. What?
Drop the camera.
Yeah.
And then be like, no, that's my camera. What was I thinking?
She's got the XT1. I think she could drop it and it would hold up okay. This picture draws me in. Like, what the hell is going on?
He
here?
did the crime, and then he's letting those kids take
I
the
think there's
fall.
some
And he's
witness
like,
stuff going on.
sneaky little man.
I mean, Justin laughed with that one. All right, so if you want your portfolio to look as good as Giselle's, first spend a couple of years practicing.
She practices a lot, and she takes pictures all the
Get
time.
out there and shoot all the time.
All the time.
But as far as the technology side of it, she doesn't have to be an HTML expert or a design expert. Just go to squarespace.com/Tony.
Yeah.
Upload your pictures, sign up for an account, pick a portfolio that suits the style of your work. There are different portfolios, templates that will match, sports and portraits and fine artwork like this. You can see it's stark and white. It's perfect for the type of work that she does. You can configure all of that. Sign up, free for 14 days.
14 days.
If you decide you like it, use the coupon code PHOTOLIVE to get a discount, of which I can't remember exactly.
You can't? You made me forget. I knew until you kept saying that. And then ruin
It's
everything.
a wonderful discount that you definitely want.
You
And
know,
it helps support
I
us.
wish we had nachos.
Oh, I know. These margaritas just make you hungry for that stuff.
Cinco de Mayo, Tony.
You got any questions for us, Justin?
Well, Giselle, just to follow up with that lady in Grand Central Station
Yeah.
who was
Yeah.
sitting down,
Yeah,
she says she really just plopped down and sat there. So that was kind of interesting.
that's interesting and annoying, but made for a great picture. That's so weird. Who does that?
This one I thought was kind of cool. Where'd it go? Anyway, hi Tony, is it true you won the Sexiest Geek Alive contest? LOL.
He did.
Who would make up a story like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did. Back in the .com boom.
Geeks
like
were it.
1999 to 2001, there was a brief period of time when nerds like me were kind of cool and we were all becoming millionaires. I did not. But yeah, there was a contest, and my friend Eric Peruki, who passed away since, signed me up for it and made a little bio for me. And they called me back, and somehow I won. And incidentally, that night, I remember I was really nervous because I'm an introvert and I don't like being on stage. And so I just kept drinking tequila at the bar where they held the actual contest.
As you do.
And I did 13 shots.
Ah.
And at that point, I was just a good time on stage. And I think that might have pushed the judges over
No
the edge.
way! You won because you got all drunky funky and went up on stage? That's so cool. That's basically what I do every week.
Yeah, so I won. I was on To Tell the Truth, which is a game show.
Montel Williams.
Montel Williams.
Good Morning America.
A couple of times on Good Morning America. And yeah, a few other shows. I had a full page spread in People magazine. It was a lot of fun.
And then you also became Boston's most eligible bachelor.
Yeah, I was cool there for a while.
You had like a good 3 days of being the hottest dude around.
Yeah, that's true. those I'm sorry to say that those are long in the past.
Not for
but
me.
That's good. I still have one fan left.
You're still my sexiest geek.
Raphael Campos asked us to take a look at this picture.
I like the light.
Yeah, there are a few things that make this picture nice. One, there are really no distractions except maybe this.
I would take that out.
Yeah, I would go ahead and just clone that out because I like the picture enough. I love the juxtaposition of the bridge and the building here. The backlighting is just gorgeous. I love the
beautiful.
rolling hills, and this little pathway here, I think, really draws your eye over to the bridge.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay. I think that. You have
What?
any other questions for us there, Justin? Questions or comments?
Questions, comments, queries, more?
Yeah, I thought this one was interesting. It's sort of abstract. What's the biggest investment a photographer can make?
Margaritas.
The biggest investment.
Well, is that like what's the biggest investment you should make? Like where should you put your money?
Or time.
Because that's really difficult. It depends what you want to do. Yeah. Like it depends your direction. If you want to go into, let's say, family portrait photography, a good portrait lens would be useful, right? I don't know if that's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. I would say the best investment is, the biggest investment is going to be the time that you put into it, because that's what really makes the
I
difference.
guess you're right, the time.
And I have a whole book about gear, but it's not really about the gear so much. It's about your own experience, and no matter what the work you're doing is, it's about your own skills. You invest in yourself and you learn.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
But then at some point you're like, my lens isn't doing what I need it to.
I think the problem a lot of people make is they put gear before self-development. So they want the best gear, the best camera, the best lens, like the backdrops, the studio lighting, and they don't understand composition yet.
People, let's just say it is dudes.
Dudes.
It's like left-brain dudes like me.
No, because women do it with the children's sets, like backgrounds,
The backdrops and
the
stuff.
backdrops and the little props and things. Like people feel like if they spend money, I think then they feel like they deserve some reward from the spending of the money. Like, I think it feels
Yeah.
like they're directly putting something into their photography. And that's not true. You got to put your time in. You got to put some little elbow grease into it. Work hard at it. Doesn't matter what gear you have. And in fact, I'm taking a photography class with a bunch of college students, and they have these little like kit cameras. They can't be more than $60, and they get amazing pictures because they just work at it. They put the time in. They worry about composition. They worry about style. They worry about originality. And by the time they grow up and can afford a really good camera, they're going to have it all figured out. So
So the
Smart.
biggest investment is just in
Time.
yourself.
Yeah.
Time, experience, training.
yeah, we got that one. Hey, I feel like that was awesome. Put it here.
We nailed it.
We did it.
What else you got, Justin?
We have.
Holy crap.
I know you've gone over this before, but
What?
street photography. Do you have to get subjects to sign a release to use the photos of them in an online portfolio?
That is an excellent question. And first, not lawyers. We don't know what the heck we're talking about. And it varies depending on where you are. Both state and national law can be different about this.
Yeah.
But generally in the U.S., I'm going to say, not as a lawyer, you're probably okay taking street photography pictures and putting them online. Now,
You can't sell them.
well, you can sell them, but if you sell
Editorial.
them, you open yourself up to a lawsuit. If you open yourself up to a lawsuit as soon as you put them anywhere or use them in any way.
Yeah.
But mostly what will happen is somebody will see the picture of themselves online. They'll recognize themselves. They'll be upset by this.
Yeah.
They'll contact a lawyer. The lawyer will send you a cease and desist, and then you take the picture down. So there's not necessarily any financial route.
I think what you're
problems.
saying is just be a badass and go for it. And if you get sued, it's a cool story.
I'm kind of hinting at that, but as soon as you get famous or you start making some money
Then
from
people
it,
are going to come after you. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's actually one of the things I want to talk to Giselle about because, again, as an introvert, I feel a little uncomfortable, like going up to people. First, I feel uncomfortable taking a picture in front of somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
But then to go to them and say, hey, would you mind signing this release form?
Yeah.
So in our commercial work, we have to have model releases for everybody. We have to have a copy of their driver's license, and they have to fill
As
out
soon
this
as it
whole
gets
form.
official, people get freaked out too.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're signing their life away or something, even if it's just in the studio. When I say, oh, sign this over, people don't like to do it.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work that you never see because we don't put it in our portfolios. I feel nervous about doing that for my own personal portfolio.
Sometimes I feel like I'm like breaching people's privacy too.
Yeah. So I only put work in my portfolio that I have a model release for.
Yeah.
But for most people, I think you're probably going to be fine. But again, don't blame me if you get sued for it.
Not our problem.
Yeah.
Not our problem. What's this? Oh, do you remember that time you had pictures of your house on your stock photography site? And then the people that bought the house sent him a letter and they said they were going to sue you.
Yeah. And so that's actually a good point because you can't even use a picture commercially unless you have a model release for the property. You have to have a property
release form, yeah.
signed by the owner. And of course, I owned the property and I had completed the property release because I was selling it as stock and they required that. So I was okay because I owned it at the time I took the picture.
You took it down anyway, just because you're a gentleman.
Well, yeah, because they sent me a C&D, a cease and desist, and I did not feel like getting a lawyer and paying for the lawyer, and the picture wasn't making any money anyway. So I didn't want any.
So you're not a gentleman. Thanks for clearing that up.
I'm not a gentleman. I would have stuck to it except I didn't want the pain in the ass that it would have been to deal with it. But yeah, you have to even think about the property. And the rule of thumb is, will somebody recognize either the person or the property that you're on? And if they'll recognize it, then it might become a problem for you. If somebody can recognize themselves, even if it doesn't show their face, it could become a problem for
I mean, I wouldn't worry about it.
you. No,
I don't
like
care.
I said, it was no big deal. I got the cease and desist. I took it down. It was the end of the story. It didn't cost me anything. So Drew Steven,
Yeah.
DrewSteven.com, sent us his portfolio, and guess what? It's hosted by Squarespace. You can tell because it's beautiful. Now, this is a different type of portfolio than we usually see. It's mostly architectural.
I actually think there are too many pictures on the front page.
Yeah, it's too much to take in. I would make the pictures bigger and fewer.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe even just 1 or 2 pictures on the front page.
yeah, and he's got everything in one category. You know, it's a trade-off because it definitely makes it simple.
But it doesn't, because there are specific things I would like to see. Oh, he does have some cool pictures, though. Look at this one. Sorry, I stole your mouse when I had my own. What? That's the coolest place ever.
Yeah, that is a beautiful location.
Can you? Oh, you can click. Oh.
Yeah, of course, the website design.
Is this someone's
That's
house?
great.
They have like a locker room? That's pretty cool. Sorry, I get all into
If
houses.
this is somebody's house, then we've done some real estate photography, and stuff is never this clean. No matter how clean the person is, there's always like a dustbin. That's
a great picture.
Oh, look at this person.
I know. I saw
Oh,
that right
that
away.
just makes it. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't see her face. That's a wonderful picture.
That's great. Wow, this house is gorgeous. Nice picture,
I
too.
love the reflections of the clouds.
I would have
in the
done this
windows.
HDR, or realistic HDR, and this is why you're losing some detail in the shadows here,
Yeah.
and then the sky is blown out.
Yeah,
It doesn't have
that's
to look
exactly what I was thinking.
HDR. People will maybe even not notice that it's HDR, but especially for architecture like this, it can be really helpful. Cool. But I do love his pictures. Oh, that's a great picture that I just clicked on.
Yeah, what
Very
a great
cool.
spot too.
Oh, I see. You clicked. I'm all willy-nilly. Nice. I like the cleanness of his website. I love his logo. It's so simple. And I love his pictures. I would just add a few categories. Like maybe like commercial versus residential. Something like that.
Yeah, though at the same time, I also appreciate just how simple it is.
Yeah, it is very
That
simple.
There's nothing to navigate. It's all right there. Oh,
He's
that's
true.
great. Picture of himself. Nice description.
Yeah.
By the way, if you go to scp.io/portfolio, you can download a portfolio checklist, and it walks you through all the common stuff that we check.
You're thorough.
That'll
Yeah.
make it easy for you.
I know.
Great job.
I like
Drew.
that.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear what you thought about the Squarespace experience, because we both found it to be super straightforward and easy.
And easy, yeah.
Every time I ran into problems, there was a support person just waiting for me. They wrote back within a couple of hours.
I need to make a video on how to just make the Squarespace site because I have a lot of fun doing it. I update mine all the time.
Yeah, it really is fun to use. Most websites are just a real headache.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with technical issues all the time, and stuff goes down. I've never had my Squarespace site go down. I do monitor it. It's never, ever gone down. My other websites, they go down all the time. And it's a real
SCP
pain.
community is always going down.
Yeah.
I hate that website. I wish we could do Squarespace on our forum because that forum is not that great.
I wish
Sorry.
we could. It's more for like personal and business websites and not
Yeah.
for like community websites.
Yeah.
But for any personal or business web, if you fall into those categories, do check it out.
Do.
Squarespace.com/Tony, and then the coupon code portfolio.
Where are we going now? Are there any cool comments? Are there any funny people? You know who's funny? I think his name is Greg. He always makes me laugh. We need to do a search for Greg. He's full of the funny.
Somebody says, I'm digging this studio compared to the White Room.
Yeah, the studio's so sweet, right? I love it.
Yeah, you might still see the white room from time to time. We'll use it for times when it's more instructional because we have the big TV in there and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like the studio. It's looking good.
it is looking good.
I see a question here. They ask, what's the best entry-level DSLR? I'm looking into a D3300. What do you think? And so at that price point, you can get a D3300 or a T5
Yeah.
or like a T5i or a T3i. And any of them will work. Once you buy into Nikon or Canon, you're kind of stuck with Nikon or Canon. So you're buying into their lens and flash system, but they're both great.
They're both great.
Yeah. So it kind of depends what you want to do. And I think it's actually too complex to go into in a lot of detail. For most people, it just won't matter. You can get the D3300 or the T3i or the T5i or the T5
Yeah.
from Canon. I also really like the A6000, the little Sony that we've been testing.
Oh, I love that camera. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
camera.
it's mirrorless, but it's the first, well, not the first mirrorless, but I would feel comfortable recommending it to anybody, no matter just about how serious you were going to get. But it's a great camera.
It is.
Otherwise, check out my photography buying guide. There are links.
Your
in the
buying
description.
guide is packed full of good information.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like back and forth. Like, are you going to do portraits or landscapes? You know,
Yeah.
how serious are you going to be? How casual are you going to be? And I don't want to go through all that now. But check out the book. Any other questions there?
Along those same lines, somebody's asking, what is the best lens for my Sony a6000 for portrait shots?
Oh, they have one portrait lens, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
No
So-
decision there.
it's the 50mm f1.8, and it's great. And that's it.
It's great. You have one choice.
Yeah, people got mad at me for saying you only had one lens, and they're like, well, you can use an adapter and then use any lens, or you can use the Sony full frame.
We just shouldn't even
Mirrorless
read
lenses.
comments anymore because we can't make anyone happy.
Yeah, it's tough, but generally I like to stick with lenses that are designed natively for that system and that
Yeah.
aren't losing light or anything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, get the 50 1.8.
Sorry, I'm reading.
Anything else there, Justin?
Somebody's asking, why are you guys going to Turkey?
We love Turkey. Well, you going to judge us now? No, Istanbul is beautiful. Once the idea first entered our minds, we were at an airport and we were going to, it was our last trip, we were going to Ireland and we met these two girls. We were in Ireland. We met them at the airport and they told us that Turkey, Istanbul, was one of the most beautiful cities they had been to, and they had been all over the world. And so we kind of just sat with them and we had a drink and we talked to them about all the places we had been and all the places we had loved. And since they told us that, I'd always wanted to go to Turkey. That was last year. So
Yeah, and I'm fascinated with the culture. I like to go to places where I immerse myself in a new culture.
Yeah.
And it's a different culture. You know, there's certainly a Western influence there.
also we want to go every single place. We want to go to every place in the world, and so
Yeah,
we're just
every
kind of
country's on the list.
we're working our way down the list.
Yeah, and so we fight between whatever makes it to the top of the list. It's some combination of like cost and convenience.
Yeah.
How excited we are about it.
We have a spreadsheet actually where I enter how much I want to go to someplace and he does, and then like it's like the average of that number, and then all of the places that are like the highest rated between the two of us, we go to
Yeah.
those places. We're really weird about spreadsheets, I guess.
I think it's probably me.
It's you. It's definitely him, but I'll take some responsibility. But yeah, Turkey, it'll be fun.
Any other questions, Justin?
This is a photography one. Somebody says, when photographing birds in flight with the 70D, do you like to select a single autofocus point or one of the other modes?
That's a really good question, and for me, it depends. If there's nothing but blank sky behind the bird,
Yeah, like if we're getting flying birds, choose a lot of autofocus spots, right?
yeah, I would do all the
All of
autofocus
them.
points. The problem is if you're shooting a flying bird and it's low enough on the horizon that there might be trees or something else behind it, then the autofocus
You'll get
will-
focused on a tree, yeah.
Yeah, and so then you need to like use a single autofocus point, and then it becomes really hard because you got to try to get that autofocus point right on the bird, and it's hard to keep it on a flying bird.
Especially with that 500 millimeter when my arm's like, ugh.
Yeah, your hand will start to shake. And so all the autofocus points just gives you more margin for
Yeah.
error. So clear sky, all autofocus points. Distractions, one autofocus point.
Very much.
So it's actually after 6. We're running a little
Oh my gosh.
late. I know.
We're running late.
We just can't stop. But any other big questions or stuff we should review, Justin?
Do you guys want to go back over the photography horror stories?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Let's go over
Siobhan
those.
commented that you should say horror, less like whore.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
Horror.
really, what?
Horror. Well,
That's a word he can't say. What's,
oh man, it's rough becoming like speaking on camera. I struggled with speaking my whole life. I'm like a Southern boy, and I have
No.
like a weird Southern voice.
I don't accept this because when you first met me, you made fun of the way I said kitten. And it was because I dropped both T's, kitten. And he was like, what? Why did you say kitten?
Yeah, this is a
So
weird regional like,
maybe payback is a
Connecticut,
me.
Rhode Island accent.
Kitten.
Horror.
What?
Horror.
Horror.
Now I'll never say it correctly.
Nope. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. All right, so
Yeah, just fill us in on those horror stories,
Those-
Justin.
horror. Horror.
This poor person says, traveled to Turkey for the first time and brought all my camera gear, but forgot the battery charger. Trip ruined. Imagine going around a country that you don't speak its language or know your way around to find a charger.
That would be horrible because the only words I ever learn are sorry and thank you. And that's not a good way to find a charger.
Yeah, I always try to learn to count to like 10.
You learn to
I
count.
end up like,
And I learned to apologize because we are inevitably going to screw everything up. So if we had to find a charger, I'd just be like, sorry, sorry, sorry.
yeah, I can learn. I can say sorry in like 15 different languages.
Me too. I'm fluent.
Shibigongsi.
I'm fluent in sorry.
Oh, how do we say it in Japanese?
I forgot.
We knew it at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is actually one of my fears. What am I going to do if I forget one important thing? How am I going to find like a camera store that has this obscure part?
This guy says another person says his friend opened his camera bag on location and realized he left all of his lenses at home and had 2 bodies.
2 bodies and no lenses.
That would stink. Maybe if you put the bodies face to face, you could get a cool picture.
I did that once with camera straps. I just showed up and I'd been using my camera on a tripod. I had no straps, but you can't travel without a strap. And remember, we ended up buying that.
You just
like,
carry it the whole
terrible
time?
strap that was like
Yeah,
super
like-
stretchy and kept falling off her shoulder. And
Yes, I forgot about that. That was
we
horrible.
ended up in like the equivalent of
We
like a Ritz
forget
photo.
something every time.
You just have to count on that. You just always forget stuff.
You know what? We're
The
really
charger might be
good.
the worst though.
The charger would be real bad. How do you even find a matching one? That would be such. I think I just.
I'm afraid of leaving my laptop charger at home because how are we going to find like a Dell laptop charger in
You
Istanbul?
don't.
No,
You don't. You just pack it full of spices and hope that works. You're like, a spice, oh, spicy.
build one of those potato batteries.
Oh my god. It like powers a 40-watt bulb. Try to get it on your computer. Oh, we're gonna upload pictures. It never goes well when we travel. The internet's always slow. They're like, just $80 a day for Wi-Fi. It's like so slow we can't even look at a web page.
Oh, somebody
What?
has an old school photography horror story. They say they got a new portrait lens and it was too sharp. And so they took a picture of a woman and it showed every hair on her face. And he had to lie and tell her that he lost the film.
Well, how hairy was she?
Apparently she was hairy enough that he had to lie and tell her that he lost the film.
That was so nice of him that he totally took the blame in a hard way because she was like very, very furry. One time, someone on YouTube told me to shave my face. And I was like, fine, I'll shave my face.
You're so underreacted to that. We gotta go dogma and just show up right at their door and just punch
Gun-
them right in the face.
I don't even care anymore. People say the dumbest stuff on YouTube. I was like, you can't even make anybody happy these days. I gotta shave my face now? How do you even do that? Justin's cracking up. Justin, you think I have a hairy face?
No.
What's so funny, Justin?
God.
Justin! I like to pretend I'm mean to Justin for some reason. I like these bad stories.
Somebody says they were sneaking on their belly to get closer to a crow to take a picture. And the crow, because crows are jerks.
I love crows, actually.
Yeah, but
they're
well,
jerks.
smart enough to be jerks.
They're jerks.
Yeah, God forbid they get YouTube access because our comments would be a problem. Anyway, they were sneaking on their belly, going through all this trouble, and the bird comes at them and craps right on them.
As you do. That's what I do when people take pictures of me.
Right in their lens, they say.
Oh, no.
Somebody went through a lot of trouble, drove a long way to get a sunset shot, had
Yeah.
everything planned out, no film.
He left it in his fridge.
Yeah, we used to keep, this is, back from when I was a photographer in the 50s, we would keep our film in the fridge. You didn't have to keep the consumer grade stuff in the fridge, but if you used the pro grade stuff, you had to keep that in the fridge.
Weird.
Yeah, that was part of the difference. The consumer grade stuff was meant to be like abused, and the pro grade stuff, they knew you would have a fridge.
Weird.
I'm feeling old.
You're not old. You're just not young.
Any other questions there, Justin, before we wrap it up?
Someone wants to know what your opinions are of the Panasonic GX7.
If you have any.
I don't even have one.
No, I've not. I've not used it.
I haven't used it, but maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, we started, for the sake of the buying guide, we started working through like every camera. But we're pretty much working through the new cameras that come out.
Yeah.
There's just too many cameras to go back through it, and the GX7 just wasn't released in the time that we were reviewing cameras. Sorry. Got nothing
Well,
for you.
I have a question for them. Why do people keep telling us to go on digital Rev TV? Is that a possibility? Can we, like, I don't know.
I like his show.
I love digital Rev, but is it
He's
like
really
possible
funny.
that I could just be like, hey, people tell me I should be on your show. Like, can I do that? I would do that.
I haven't asked.
I'm gonna write him. Oh, I should make a video and put it on his page. Just be like, people have been telling me I got what it takes.
A little tryout video.
I don't think you'd like my drunkiness. That's it. I think that's it.
All right. Feel like it's time to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We are here every week. Mondays at 5. If you're not sure when in your local time zone, go to sdp.io/when.
Just
and
use
of course,
the internet.
we have to thank Squarespace, our sponsor, who paid for this massive amount of gear
They make it all possible.
to get us going. Without Squarespace, we simply couldn't do it. So don't complain about the Squarespace ads.
Stop it. Stop complaining.
Yeah, you get us with the Squarespace ads or no us. So thank you, Squarespace, for sponsorship.
Thank
and
you,
hosting
Tony,
our
for
portfolio.
margaritas.
And happy Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. That's it.
Adios.
Adios. You speak.